What's up, folks? Today I'm gonna be showing you a couple of ways that you can make your photos more cinematic. Let's get into it. Okay, so tonight I'm walking around the beautiful city of Manchester looking for excellent and fantastic cinematic compositions. So first off, what even is a cinematic composition? Okay, so a cinematic image is any image that harkens back to cinema. Any image that is reminiscent of the beautiful shots that you see on the big screen. What you're seeing right now is a few of my favorite shots that help inform my photography. However, if you clicked on this video, I think what you're looking for is those high contrast images. Images like this, and this, characterized by that teal and orange grade, that very dramatic look. And I think I got the sauce that you need. I'm gonna show you how to look at this. I'm gonna show you how to do it, but look at this. This right here is cinematic. There's a few things you have to get dialed to make sure that your images are as cinematic as possible. It's subject, scenario, gear, and color grading. Now, color grading is a whole video in itself. I'm working on that and it should be up in a few weeks, but first, let's start with subject. Okay, so I think probably the most important aspect of cinematic photography is storytelling, really honing in on that subject and drawing the audience in. For example, look how much more powerful this image is in comparison to this image. You can see that the one with the subject is a lot more powerful. So what you want to do is make sure that you're telling some sort of story, because it somehow just helps to draw the audience in and makes the images a lot more captivating. Don't just settle for any old subject as well. Aim for mystery and intrigue. Figures that have hoods on, long cloaks, hats, umbrellas, you know, cloaks that shroud their face, just to keep the audience guessing and keep drawing them in, making the image a lot more interesting. For example, I have this cloak here. This beautiful long black cloak belongs to my little sister. It's a size M in women, but I opted for it instead of my white coat because it's just not as mysterious. In case I need to be a subject in the photograph, I want to make sure I have something long and flowing and mysterious. Can you see how mysterious I am? I think someone who does an excellent job of this mysterious storytelling is New York-based photographer Billy D. Each frame he takes leaves you asking questions or wanting more. It's always either a cloaked man with an umbrella shrouding his face, or a figure walking through the steam or fog in the distance. Very cinematic and mysterious. The next subject is scenario. Okay, so we got the subject down, we know exactly what we're shooting. The next thing you want to focus on is your scenario, your environment. And this right here is the most cinematic environment of all. Volumetric light, look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, so let's clarify what I mean by volumetric lights. Occasionally, when the air has texture in it, when the air has rain, fog, or even dirt kicked up by a car drifting in the desert, when the light interacts with it, the result is beautiful and it creates a very magical, very ethereal effect. The result helps to give your image more depth. It helps to pull your subject away from the background because there's so much texture between the subject and the background, and it looks really sick. It looks cinematic, if you will. You can usually tell if you're getting very good volumetric light if the light manifests itself as light rays. Now, usually this may mean you might have to wait for that perfect foggy day in your city, or wait for the rain to come, or if you're in the mountains, wake up very, very early in the morning to see if you can catch that morning fog before the sun burns it off. Now what I do to capitalize on this very beautiful volumetric light is shoot into the light. Now, I know that goes against what a lot of people tell you, don't shoot into the light, but I like to shoot into the light. This gives the shadows of the image a more balanced, like hazy effect. It also helps to further pop your subject out of the image because your subject takes more of a silhouette form. I love using that, and the result is always beautifully cinematic. Okay, so last but not the least, camera gear. What camera gear do you need? There are two things you need to do in order to make sure that you're getting as cinematic images as possible. You need a very fast lens, a fast prime lens, and of course a camera or a sensor that's good in low light. Now, what I use is the Canon RF in conjunction with a 35mm 1.8 RF lens. Is it the best combo? Maybe not, but it works perfectly for me. Especially if I have that thing mounted on a tripod, the results are fantastic, very, very beautiful. Now, the reason you need a fast lens is because if you notice, most of these cinematic scenarios are low light scenarios. Maybe at dusk or at dawn or maybe in the middle of nighttime, you need a fast lens to be able to, you know, pick out stuff that's going on in the dark. And you also need a camera sensor that's good at handling low light because you don't want the noise and all the grain from very, very low light photographs to be able to detract from the story that you're trying to tell. That is why I use a fast lens in low light situations. Okay, so let's wrap things up. I wanna go through all the pointers again. To get more cinematic photographs, you need to dial in your subject to tell a very impactful story. You need to make sure that you're shooting in cinematic scenarios, whether that may be dusk or dawn or nighttime, preferably in volumetric light. You also need to make sure that you're shooting towards the light in certain scenarios because that helps to have the light spilling into frame and to balance out the shadows, making it look more cinematic. And finally, you have to use the right gear. Having a lens that is fast, that works beautifully in low light, and having a camera whose sensor is able to handle the noise and handle that low light situations would help transform your work and make your work even more cinematic. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you were able to learn from the video. Super excited for this year. We're trying to go for 40 videos this year. I have so many ideas and so many concepts that I cannot wait to share with you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.